Hello, hello everyone. It's odd. I haven't streamed in the longest while. Ah, it's odd. Anyway, we're gonna be doing this random game that I found on Steam. I called The Pinch of Magic. I'll probably have to move my person around somewhere, but I don't know. I saw it on Steam and looked interesting. I got a lot of stuff on Steam. Whoa. Ooh. Up. Okay, cool. This is... Ooh, I like that. Cool. This is not the thing, but let's just... Oh, this... Okay. I guess this is good. I don't... What's my name? Oh yeah, right. I saw this. Oh, that's so cool. Huh. Boop. Ah! I let out a freezing yawn as I leaped down onto the bus to the pavement, bags in hand. Finally made it. Drinking in the familiar surroundings, I take a moment to... Wait, options. The music. Cool. Drinking in the familiar surroundings, take a moment to execute some quick squats. The brisk stretcher size is exactly what my compressed muscles ordered, all stiff from several hour-long bus rides from the city to the sea. I wonder if this is how the Jack-in-the-Boxes feel when they pop out. Newly energized, I extend my arms to the tropical sun as if to pluck it from the sky and take in a greedy lungful of delicious sea air. As always, the warm climate here on the coast feels as though it's welcoming me back home, back to the place where I belong. I missed this, all of it, and ahead of me is a summer-long period of peace and respite. I just graduated high school, and from now on there'll be no parents, teachers, or peers, there's no commas there, reminding me with every breath that I'm waiting to the end of my teenage years with no direction, just the sun, the sea, and this place. What? There'll be no parents, teachers, or peers. They're forgetting the Oxford comma in one place, but other than that. My destination, the tranquil seaside of Linsdale. Nestled in a quiet crescent-shaped cove on the coast, and licked by the starry, deep blue waves of the sea, some people have taken to the affectionately nicknaming it Moon Bay. Pretty cultic name, all things considered. But it always seemed perfectly apt. Oh, but it always seemed perfectly apt because it's also the town of my grandmother, my Baba, calls home. And she just so happens to be an exceptional and absolutely eccentric witch. All these years and I still wouldn't put it past her to have coined Moon Bay herself, just because it might help drum up business among the magic folk. For the first time in 3 years, she asked me to visit this summer, and I already can't wait to resume my magic training. My fingers electrified already, tingling at the prospects. I reached into the pocket of my hoodie, feeling for the letter she sent, making sure it's still there. Cursive on vellum and wax seal. Yep, nobody except that wily old woman would write like this anymore. There's no time like the present. Unable to hide my eagerness to see her, I hoist my bags up to my shoulders and take off at a sprint up the staircase, leaving the bus stop far behind. And once I leap across the threshold at the stairway's end, I see the sight I've longed for and open my lungs wide. Hello, coffee curiositas. I'm home. My grandmother's cafe stands before me, a static monument among the other buildings, utterly unchanging, like a moment in time, perfectly preserved the way I always remembered it. The music just... It reminds me of my childhood, of iced tea in summer, the sea salt ice cream, and freer days spent under Baba's tutelage. That, in itself, is a rare kind of magic that leaves me spellbound. Naturally, my peppy cry draws the attention of several passerbys outside the store, many of whom recognize me and wave in greeting. Well, I'll be, if it isn't Andrea. Been a spell since you've been back. Still kept that strange habit of greeting the cafe like it's a person, I see. Well, she's not wrong. I guess I am a little old to be shouting in public. But as Baba used to say, a witch breathes magic into into all things. Every word is a charm, every sentence a spell. Now that I think about it, it's totally possible she was just hoodwinking an extremely gullible 5-year-old. But, well, it's a cute tradition, so who cares? I wave energetically back. Hey there, it's good to see you again. Do you know what my grandmother is about? That question seems to give her pause, and she forces a smile which can only be read as guilty embarrassment. Oh, you mean she... Well, I'm not too sure. Haven't been in the coffee for a while. Anyway, it's nice seeing you, kid. I change to respond. She scuttles off over the hill, leaving me stranded in confusion at the shop door. What in the hemlock was that about? Glancing over the cafe again, my eyes narrow, suspiciously, and roam up and down the building. I finally noticed one extremely telling clue. It's the height of morning, and yet the curtains are shut tight. Fisher still is how quiet it is. Wait, don't tell me. I practically kick down the door in my provoked state, and once inside, all my suspicions are confirmed. Not only are the lights switched off, not only are there no customers, not only has the door clearly been left unlocked, with complete disregard to nasty draughts, thieves or trespassers, but on top of that, Baba's nowhere to be found. The lingering mingled fragrance of sweet teas and bitter coffees temporarily catches me off guard, filling my nose and mind with happy memories, but I quickly remember why I'm here. I stomp across the cafe floor in big strides, making a beeline for the door at the far end of the room. A door hidden behind a heavy satin curtain, and bewitched to be invisible to all non-magic customers. Baba? Baba! I stopped dead in my tracks. In the secret room, piled floor to ceiling with mystery objects, is Baba's crystal ball table. A table radiating with memories of afternoons sitting in her lap, poring over dusty tomes, and having the wonders of magic whispered in my ear. And now, on the table, clearly awaiting my arrival, is a small paper ornament. An enchanted letter, folded into the shape of a miniature rabbit. When I enter the room, it turns up its ears and bounces up from its slumber, hopping to the table's edges to greet me. I would recognize this magic anywhere. Baba would, while away hours folding these critters for me as I studied, until she had gifted me an entire animal kingdom out of paper. It never failed to put a smile on my face. Which can only mean she's buttering up for some unsavory news. I skeptically scoop up the paper rabbit in my hand, and at the touch of my finger upon its nose, it unravels itself. Sure enough, my grandmother has inked a note in cursive inside. My dearest Andrea, I have run away. Since I was the one who invited you to stay with me this summer, I'll venture that this will come as a shock to you. But it wasn't part of my plan, but running the cafe was beginning to feel rather droll. Is this like a... Yeah, it's the log. Then I remembered, it's mugwort season. And also that the witch folk are hosting a mushroom-picking festival in the mountains. Much less droll by far. Do not come searching for me. Write to me, though. If you want me to bring you back some mugwort, otherwise I shall bring you nothing. Take care of the place while I'm gone. P.S. I hope you have money. The pantry is empty. I knew it! That wayward old witch! Slumping into one of the table's squishy cushions, I throw my arms up in defeat. I absolutely should have expected this. Flying through life by the seat of our pants, living by her every whim, dropping things when they no longer suit her. This entire situation reaches into the far recesses of my mind, conjuring up echoes of countless other past examples of how mercurial Baba could be. Oh my god, I don't want to say Baba. I'll just say G-Ma. Closing up at noon to go skinny dipping in the ocean. Hosting a luau party, then passing out after an hour on her own deadly magic punch. Her crimes of capriciousness knew few bounds. She may have taught me everything I know of magic, but early on I had to master brewing tea and coffee, not just potions, just to keep this place running smoothly. It suddenly dawns on me why that passerby had acted so suspiciously. I bet she cut and run days ago and told everyone in town not to breathe a word. Yep, sounds about right. No matter how you cut it, she's running away from the responsibilities again. I seriously have no clue how she's managed to keep this place running all these years. My lips press themselves into a thin, stubborn line. Mugwort tea is my favorite, though. I guess it's time to go shopping. An hour or so later, I made begrudging progress on the cafe's starry state. With the door now locked and the curtains still tightly drawn, I make use of the privacy by enchanting Baba's dustpan and broom and setting them on to work on the floor. They whiz about the room in a waltz, making quick work of any dust or grime in their path. After a brief inspection, all that remains in the fridge is a curdled bottle of milk. The pantry cupboards have also been harboring nothing but dust, but were saved earlier by a trip to the local supermarket. Rest in peace, poor wallet. Luckily, it also seems the cafe's more expensive wares are in plentiful stock. The exotic plethora of tea leaves and unground coffee beans have been safely stored in bags or dry containers. The siphons, mills, and other apparatus, too, are in good working order. Knowing Baba's devil-may-care attitude, the situation here could have been far worse. I should count my blessings she didn't let any rats inside those sacks. That moment, as if my words had personally offended her efforts, Baba's cat slinks into the room and up onto the counter to glare at me. There you are, Hannibal! A witch's familiar reduced to a rat catcher. How the mighty fall in the wrong hands. But since you don't have anything better to do, if you see any about, you be sure to let me know. When I reached across the counter to scritch beneath her neck, she forgets her grumpiness in a heartbeat and pads off into the bathroom for an afternoon nap. With the dustpan and broom soon done with their work, I thank them for their service and quickly finish putting the cupboards in order. After a satisfying stretch, I pulled back the curtains to survey the place triumphantly. Watch out, Linsdale, we're back in business. Standing there with my hands on my hips, it's a funny feeling that courses through my chest. The kind of liberation and pride that comes with being free to wantonly spellcast for the first time in a painfully long while. I missed it even more than I thought I would. Not too resty, though, thankfully. Now then, the last port of call is to flip the sign, and after that, I guess it's time to brew some criminally delicious coffee. But as soon as I step aside, I pause. My senses are once splashed by the salty air, the sun's warmth, and the far-off songs of the soaring flock of seagulls. And in my line of sight, the sea itself, a shimmering crystal blue expanse, calling me back to its edge. Well, I've worked pretty hard, if I do say so myself. Just a little stretch of the legs before couldn't hurt. And so, with slow meandering strides, I crossed the pavement and paced down the small stone staircase, heading for the beachfront. Wow. I take my time enjoying the afternoon breeze and journey all the way to the boardwalk and beyond. When I reach the beach edge, I slide off my shoes and press on, free and barefoot in the sand. It softly envelops my feet as I walk, like a floor made of satin. The waves, too, are like rocks, or rolls of crystalline satin sheets being unraveled onto the shore, rolling over rocks, shells in themselves, and gently slipping back to their source. As ever, Moon Bay, you're almost too perfect for words. I plop myself down in the sand, stretching out my legs and searching along the water's surface for something. I wonder if she's still out there. But before I can continue that thought, the phone in my back pocket hums. When I retrieve it, I see several texts incoming from my parents. Their messages cascade simultaneously into the group chat, making it plainly obvious they're both sitting beside each other, typing with a joint agenda. Did you arrive safely? You forgot to text us. We were worried. How's Gma? She doing well? How's her back? And there it is. I sigh, typing back with my regular responses whenever they awkwardly attempt to bring her up. If you're that worried, you could always, try talking to her yourself, Dad. And I'm sure she'd like to hear from both of you. After a brief exchange ending in I love yous all around, I fling my phone to the side and fall back onto the sand bed. The history between my parents and Baba was fractured, to say the least. In this world where so few people are gifted with the ability to wield magic, we hide what we are for an easier life. Hundreds of years ago, those without the gift feared us, persecuted us, and worse. The world was messy. The witch folk decided, almost unanimously, that it was better to fade into an anonymity than cause trouble. Nowadays, as far as the rest of normal society is concerned, it's known that... Okay, I just wanted to check settings and all that. No, I didn't get to read what that was. So, as for my parents and Baba, well, Baba had always been an immensely talented witch. The first time I was sent here to stay with her for the summer, I was 3. She showed me a few simple spells, and even though I could barely speak, I guess I was a natural. I still remember sweeping me up when I successfully levitated a paperclip. She was so giddy it was impossible for her to contain herself. But my parents were different. They never taught me magic. Never encouraged me to learn it. All that they wished for me was an utterly normal life. They asked Baba to stop teaching me, and that was that. Or so they thought. When they found out I'd flown in their face of their disapproval, and I'd secretly been studying hard under Baba for every summer for 10 years. Oh boy. Okay, we just... Definitely just... Oh boy. I remember that day. Dad's face went a shade of blue I didn't think was possible, outside of being hexed. After that, their relationship became strained. They stopped talking. I became their mediator, the owl ferrying messages back and forth. I stopped visiting Linsdale after a while, to give them all time to cool off. A normal life? A boring life? Devoid of magic? I feel empty just at the thought of it. But honestly, I don't really have I don't really have the first clue about what I want to do in the future. If only witch folk didn't have to hide who we are. As I raise myself back up and to hug my knees, I realize that I've been absent-mindedly dragging my finger through the sand all this time. I've drawn nothing remotely artistic, of course, just a bunch of badly drawn swirls that barely resemble shapes at all. These are almost terrible as Kia's... A spark ignites, a recollection in my mind, a spark which sends me flying back to before I'd been interrupted by my parents' messages, back to the thoughts of a friend from long ago. My eyes meet the sea again. Kia's home, my childhood friend, who had been as much a part of my summers in Linsdale as my grandmother. She was an extraordinary person in her own right, a mermaid who befriended a witch. Shy and a little fumbling in the beginning, she barely grasped human language. Kia was just about the only sound she could make. We'd communicate by drawing shapes in the sand, though hers were terrible. I got pretty good at deciphering them. I could still clearly remember our first meeting here on the shore. I was 5. Mom and Dad had just asked Baba to stop teaching me magic, and I was wailing into the ocean at the top of my lungs. It was only once my tears had dried up that I noticed a curious baby mermaid, who'd snuck away from her home to investigate the surface, was peering at me through the waves. As I reminisce, a smile comes across my face. Kia, that's right. I wonder if she and her family still swim these waters. With renewed purpose, I leap up and dust myself off. I tread up and down the beach, scanning the waves for any sign of movement, but unsurprisingly, I don't find any trace of her anywhere. There isn't a fin in sight. Well, that'll teach me for being willfully optimistic. As if mermaids would ever venture this close to shore. They'd be found out in a heartbeat. Still, I haven't exhausted all the tricks up my sleeve yet. Determined, I set off up and down the beach once again, this time with my eyes to the sand, scouring the golden floor for a very particular object. And finally, wedged between some barnacled rocks, I find exactly what I'm looking for. A prismatic conch, shimmering and weighty to the touch. More importantly, in the hands of a witch, it's a horn that, when blown, can sing a song only a mermaid could hear. It was an ancient spell Baba taught me as a child, used by old witches in times of strife to call mermaids to their aid. Together, Ki and I had repurposed it. Since the day we met, it had been a way of me communicating to her, I'm here, I want to see you. Well, I suppose there's only one way to find out if she's still out there listening for me. As a precaution, I spin about, checking for onlookers. But this corner of the beach is deserted. So, reaching into the recesses of my mind for the ancient spell, I pluck out its melody, note by note, and whisper my request to the shell at my fingertips. White of waves, my bottomless heart be, an ocean of love, built just for thee. And if thou art to stray away in faraway foam, the song of my sea will call you home. As the conch begins to gleam, I gather my breath and blow gently into its tip. Fwee! But no matter how many times I call, Kia doesn't appear. The waves simply kept rolling over the sand at my feet, slowly soaking in and causing me to sink. So she left in search of somewhere better, after all. No Baba, no Kia. This truly was shaping up to be a pretty miserable summer. The pang of pain I felt in my chest, sudden but not unexpected. 3 years ago, when I said goodbye and left Linsdale, I didn't know it'd be the last time. Didn't get a chance to tell her. Somewhat sad, my shoulders droop a little. She was always so timid and unsure of herself. I wonder if she waited every summer for me to come back, but I never did. But never one to let sadness get the better of me for long. I clap my cheeks together, and at the very least, I know that right now, what I can do is see her off with a smile. I'm sorry, Kia, but I hope wherever you are, you're swimming happy. And that your drawings don't suck anymore. After exhaling my feelings cathartically into the afternoon air, I turn heel and head back towards the stairs. It's time to open the cafe for the evening. But as my head swims with thoughts of coffee bean recipes and measurements, I forgot to check for obstacles in my path, and before I knew it, what? I collide with someone else. Oh, I'm so sorry. Please excuse me. The bump had successfully knocked me down a stair or two, but as I shake off the pain, her eyes meet mine. Her golden irises, her amethyst hair, everything about her beauty is dazzling, and it temporarily catches me off guard. Phew! I'm grateful she seems unharmed. Whoa, whoa. I run my fingers through my hair, somewhat embarrassed. Not at all. I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention either. You all right? Yes, I... Her quiet voice quickly trails off, but she continues to stare at me with great intensity, looking me up and down with wide eyes. That's right, the cafe. I don't have time to be wasting here. So I flash her a polite smile and, shooting back up the hill, excuse myself. Well, I'm sorry again, but have a nice evening. Bet you that beautiful woman's Kia. Large leaping strides bring me back to the cusp of the hill in record time. With the afternoon sky already fading in the orange glow, evening is practically here. I have no concrete grasp on how long Baba's cafe had been closed since she cut and run, but there's one thing I know for certain, and that's I don't want to keep the Linsdale patrons waiting any longer. It's funny. If I let slip that Baba's irresponsibleness is what put me into this mess in the first place, I'm actually excited. Rushing about, serving special blends, putting smiles on customers' faces. It was difficult at first, but I grew to love it. Positive vibes, Andrea. Maybe this will be a good summer after all. With renewed energy, I begin to mentally roll up my sleeves. But just as I round the corner, an unpleasant sight makes my newly buoyed mood sink faster than the stone anchor. What the... Directly outside the cafe, pulled unceremoniously onto the curb, is a garish red sports car. It's brand new and clearly far too expensive to belong to any resident in Linsdale. Are you serious? What sort of self-centered idiot parks their car square in the front of a shop entrance? Already ticked off, I watch as an elderly man with a cane struggles to shuffle through the gap in the pavement, grasping at the cafe wall for support. He gets his revenge as he passes by, though, flipping the bird to the car's tinted windows as he goes. You go, Grandpa. And if I had any doubts that this gaudy ride would spell trouble, they're blown away as soon as the driver steps outside. A tall blonde fop in the sunglasses. Fop? Fop? Wait. What is a fop? Fop.
Fop.
A man who is concerned with his clothes and appearance in an infected and excessive way. A dandy. He's a dandy. Okay. A tall blonde fop. Okay. He comes out the car. Leaning back lazily onto the car roof, he slips his sunglasses up into his hairline and clicks his tongue at the elderly man's back. I'm about to storm up and give him a piece of my mind when he pulls out his phone, the latest model. It looks like, and begins snapping up landscape shots of the cafe. May I help you? Sliding his free hand casually into his back pocket, he turns to flash me a smile. It's so not cute. Oh, jeez. Blonde fop. Are you the owner? I square up my shoulders as much as humanly possible, arms folded cross. Yes, I am. My name's Andrea, and I don't appreciate you blocking my door for customers' use. Customers? He cockily raises his eyebrow and looks around at the now very empty street. Pulls down his sunglasses. What sunglasses? Once or twice in a mocking motion. Huh. Well, how's about that? I guess my prescription's wrong, because I don't see a single soul sniffing around. Looks like what you have here is a bona fide dead spot. Dead spot? You better not be insulting my cafe. Another condescending smile slowly stretches across his face. He's clearly looking down on me, and doesn't care to provide any kind of answer. He just continues, ignoring my question. Not an insult, per se, as it so happens that this is the exact sort of place I'm looking for. With a twinkle in his eye, he straightens up and spins his phone into both hands. His whole demeanor changes as he begins typing on the screen with lightning speed. So what's your specialty here? Cafe Cubano, Chinese teas, matcha? You do serve something other than the salty tap water, I assume. Sure, there's a bottle of rancid milk in the fridge with your name on it. Yes, all those things. We aren't some backwater cafe that only serves standard drip swill. Where's mine? Huh. That's odd, my mouse is... no lights. So you run this place with someone else? My grandmother. She's not here right now. Uh-huh. And what's this place called? Are you freaking kidding me? Look at the damn sign poster, boy. I sigh and loudly and dramatically. Coffee Curiosities. His fingers pause. They're tapping for a moment. He takes the time to raise a smug eyebrow at me. Right, bravo. No, really, it's inspired. A little desperate, and only slightly nauseating. I don't like this guy. He stands up straight and takes one more large... I forgot to... Okay, I need to turn on game overlay. I forgot that was a thing. He stands up straight and takes one more large, gulping glance at the cafe's facade. Then he flips his phone and snaps a headshot of my startled face. Hey! Never said you could do that. Okay, the chat's ready. And just send that in chat. Perfect. Headshot of my startled face. It's a perfect blend material for my blog, that is. I can use page up and down to... I forgot about the log! Okay. It's a perfect blend of material for my blog, that is. Your blog? He gives me a look that is equal parts smug and pitying. It's perhaps the most punchable expression I've ever seen. Right now he's got one. Just look at that. Just smug. You have no idea who I am, do you? No? Wait, but now I get a really good look at him, he actually does look somewhat familiar. Here, souvenir. Don't bend it now. It's premium embossed. With a wink, he slips his business card into my hand. Fancy gold script spell, the cuisine blogger, and the name, Mikhail. Ha, Mikhail. Thanks. Guess I'll use it when I run out of toilet paper. I snap the card from his fingers, making sure to look thoroughly unimpressed as I do. His smarmy veneer cracks. Just a little at that. Oops. Charmed, I'm sure. Now then, let's hope your coffee wildly lives up to my expectations, shall we? I can feel my blood boiling. The way that smirk plays at the edge of his mouth. It's perfectly obvious what his expectations are. Though I still can't place his face. I've read about bloggers just like him. Vindictive types. Trapezing. Trapezing. Sorry. Tripesing. Traipsing? Traipsing. Are you sure about that? Traipsing around the country, targeting coffee shops with small customer bases, searching for the worst of the worst for their scathing reviews, like sharks feasting on krill. For a second time, I slide my gaze grimly over his red sports car, with his ostentatious wheels and shiny mirrors and waxed gleam. I suppose when you're scum on the surface of the industry, it doesn't matter if you destroy businesses wherever you go, as long as those clicks keep coming. Well, he's not going to drag Baba's Cafe through the mud on my watch. So, Here I am, in the flesh. Your only paying customer and all that. I drove 2 hours from the city to find this place. Aren't you gonna let me in? I stride up to the door and start to unlock it, but inwardly, that boiling blood is starting to boil over. I'm in no mood to play nice. In fact, just for the audacity of coming here and trying to mess with the witch's business, I'm perfectly happy to play just a little dirty. With the help of some magic, slipping my hand inconspicuously behind my back and starting to weave a spell in the air, I stepped towards him, all the while a sweet smile plastered on my face. Sure, I don't have a problem with that. You're welcome to try my coffee. Quickest way to get you off my property. But you might not want to step inside just yet because... Ooh, a choich! He is still a customer. I'd rather just distract him than prank him, so... A seagull just stole your phone. What? He pivots on his heels to see a gigantic seabird that is now squatting on the top of the roof of his car, phone in beak. I'm pleased to see that after being summoned, it took the time to excrete on his car before it landed, too. It's a nice touch, if I do say so myself. Hey, birdie, I'm gonna need you to give me back my phone now. It's very expensive. It was a gift, so... Alright, just give it back, yeah? Deliciously flustered, Mikhail's edges closer to the seagull, trying not to scare it back into the skies with his phone in tow. Please? Seagull blinks at him with bored indifference. So just give it back to... Oh, I got an achievement for that. Don't mess with seagulls. Just give it back to me! He lunges towards the seabird like a complete idiot. Finally compelled to move, the bird immediately drops the phone and rockets itself up into the air. And in the process, its clawed web feet tear through the fragile paint and metal on the roof car, leaving a permanent deep scar on the surface. Oops. Ah! Ah! Mikhail rushes forward and falls upon his car in misery, like a man whose soul has just been crushed. Bianca, my darling, no, no! Oh God, Father's gonna kill me! Bring, bring! With timing so impeccable, I'm almost convinced I'd somehow cast a second spell. Mikhail's phone explosively starts to ring. Upon seeing the caller ID, the blood drains from his face. Beep. Ah, Father, it's good to hear you from you. No, I'm fine. You're back from Hawaii. Yeah, of course I can. But Father, about the car you brought me. Well, see, it's a funny story. Having completely forgotten me, Mikhail woefully shuffles away out of earshot to take the phone call. That wasn't my fault, right? Nah, accident, Andrea. Not vandalism, just an accident. Oh, I can also use scrolling. Yep, nothing to worry about. And so, mostly smug, yet just so ever slightly regretting my influence on this turn of events, I take the opportunity to back away through the cafe door, swinging the sign to open along the way. I like her outfit. My outfit. I like my outfit. Looks nice. The minutes, and then tens of minutes painfully tick by. Not a single potential customer step inside or even hazards a peek through the windows. I start by leaning over the counter, head in palms, alternating between watching the clock hands and the bell above the door. But I quickly get bored and my twitchy hands tap the counter for searching for something to do. Mikhail's business card is nearby, exactly where I'd thrown it earlier, so I retrieve it and twirl it around absentmindedly. Let's see how famous this guy really is. Whoa, seriously? A quick phone search pulls up hundreds of results. Blog posts with hits in the tens of thousands. Sponsorship tees to the prominent worldwide cafe chain Moonbucks. A hefty follower base on social media. And even a narcissistic modeling portfolio of monochrome shirtless photographs. Just great, as if I don't have enough problems right now. Ah, what's with these pictures? He's dripping wet in half of them. Did someone turn on a hose or something? So stupid. Now I'm more irked than ever. I check my phone aside and go back to watching the clock. All this inactivity is doing nothing except stiffening my muscles and making me anxious. 30 minutes and not a whiff of anyone. Not even one of the regulars. This can't be right. I recall my previous summers here, when there were always non-magics and witchfolk around, mingling and joking about shooting friendly banter back and forth with Baba. Back then her cafe had never seemed wanting for patrons. Each day a steady stream of satisfied customers would come and go at an even pace. It had never been busy, but it was comfortable. Sure, it's unlikely that there'd be a lot of witchfolk making the trip right now. No doubt, they're all up in the mountaintop with Baba, picking mugwort and betting on drunken duels. But for there to be no non-mags around? I glance back at the clock, disappointed by what I see. It's far too late now to be trying to pluck customers off the street, but if I root around, there may be something of use laying around somewhere. So determined to be productive in some capacity, I trawled through some lower kitchen cupboards, hoping to find something to use to attract new customers in the morning. Sensing activity, Hannibal slinks into the kitchen and curls around my leg with a pointed meow. She leads me to a hatch under a rug on the floor, below one of the open cupboards. Nice. Good job, Hannibal. She purrs silkily, and continues to circle around as I rummage through the old contents of the hatch box. There isn't much of use, but I do stumble on an old signboard for advertising, and some pastel chalk sticks. This is perfect. If I spruce it up a little bit, it'll do for a mini menu at the end of the street. "9/11. Oh, no. Hannibal pokes her little head beneath my arm, demanding scritches for her hard work. I'm so distracted I fail to hear the bell chiming at the door. Good girl. Now who wants to get some fishy wishes tonight? That's right, you are. Excuse me? Ow! Just a second. I'll be right with you. Clutching the bruised crown of my head that just exchanged blows with the cupboard door, I totter embarrassedly back onto my feet and heave myself over the counter. A radiant sight greets me. Oh, hello. Fishy wishies? Aha, sorry, I was talking to the cat. Oh, I remember you. Her eyes visibly sparkle and her cheeks pinken. You do? Of course, that lady from the beach, right? I'm so sorry again for bumping into you back there. Oh no, that's quite alright. So that's what she meant. Somehow she looks kind of sad. Did I say something wrong? An awkward silence settles over us. As it stretches on, she starts to comb a finger nervously through that loose curl of hair. Well, this is a fine way to start the evening, by making my only customer uncomfortable. Applying my kindest, most sincere smile, I gesture towards one of the seats at the counter. I can at least salvage the situation by acting professional now. I need to... Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather. I tend to slur words together, which is odd. Where are my manners? You're here to order, right? What can I get you? We have a menu around here somewhere. As I rummage around behind the corner, though her body language is shy, the woman's striking sandy eyes watch me intently. Can't help but feeling a little nervous. Ah, here it is. I slid the menu across the counter, a lavish, high-end tablet listing our served items, including coffee blends, black, white, and green teas, small meals, and desserts. But this tablet, much like the cafe itself, has a mystical secret up its sleeve. A coffee cup-shaped tab on the screen, intended to be invisible to non-Magic customers, conceals a hidden second menu, one that displays some of Baba's oldest potions, and other recipes designed for more magical patrons. I admit, I was surprised earlier to find such a thing myself. A paper menu was all that had existed before. But the tablet looks brand new and screams, "Impulse purchase," which unfortunately also happens to be one of Baba's many bad habits. The woman graciously takes the tablet from me, tucking a periwinkle curl behind one of their stylish earrings, and she began scrolling intuitively through the menu. She's so elegant and glamorous, and her eyelashes have this beautiful, dewy quality to them, like black waves breaking on the beach at night. So strong was that association, I was curiously struck by the sense of familiarity. But then, you have nothing new on the menu, I take it? Ah, sorry, you could say I'm somewhat of a regular here. I know this place and its owner very well. Oh, then I take it you know my grandmother is out of town right now. Right now, yeah. I do, but it's no trouble at all. I didn't come here today to see her. She tilts her head shyly. It's a devastating move, but I don't think she's doing it on purpose. Is she enjoying her vacation? Oh yeah, I'm sure she's having a whale of a time. She pulls stunts like this far too often. I'm half convinced she's dragged me back here just to rope me into running this place for a few weeks. The woman shuffled somewhat bashfully in her seat, lowering her eyes into her lap. Well, if it brought you back to Linsdale, I'm glad she did. Just think of this salicious encounter. Did she mean to say serendipitous? With a gentle smile, she clears her throat and taps the screen with her nail. The highlighted drink is a salty kelp latte, a popular sea-based item from the secret menu. This one, if I may. It's my usual order. Sure thing, I'll just be a moment. I flash her a knowing smile before stepping over to the kitchen area to prepare her order. As I lay my hands on the glass bottle of kelp leaves, a spark of inspiration hits me, and so I think Magic. Magic should be fine. This woman is most definitely Kia. Magic. With nobody else here, why be ordinary when I can afford to be a little flamboyant? With a snap of my fingers, a series of illuminated shapes trace in the air, and ingredients heed my call and begin to dance around in a flourish, a dash of seawater, pinch of sugar, and a star of the show, the salty kelp. The kelp blades weave their way through the air until they collide in pirouette, crushing themselves into a fine powder. It falls like emerald snow into the basin of a china cup that dances its way into the woman's hands. Wow, it's so... pretty cool, right? Yeah, but the magic show is not finished yet. Last to arrive is the steamed milk, unfurling itself from a nearby jug just like a porcelain ribbon. It winds its way into the cup, slowly mixing with the other ingredients. As the last drop falls, I bring my palms forward to bless the drink with one more final drop of something special. A pinch of magic. And now for the finishing touch. Could you tell me your name? She looks agitated, as if she has particular trouble answering the question. It's, Kiana. Alright, sit tight, Kiana. I reach across the counter for a thin, nozzled bottle filled with caramel. And in small, delicate letters, I write her name across the milk foam. And there we have it. Bon appetit. As she puts her drink to her lips, the warm steam brings a soft flush to her cheeks. A small, content sigh escapes at her as she returns to the cup, to the saucer. And so, my salty kelp latte. Does it meet a mermaid's approval? Yes, very much so. It's gumptious. Glad to hear it. But I'm pretty sure you meant to say scrumptious. Oh my goodness, this is embarrassing. Human language is still so hard. We're right. I've been studying so much, but I still mess up all the time. Her whole face breaks out in a fierce flush. The quiet elegance I'd seen in her earlier had completely peeled away. Nothing could have prepared me for this. It's like her demeanor has done a completely 180. I thought she was demure. Sorry. Words. Reserved, modest, and shy. Gotcha. But I guess she's just shy about making mistakes in front of a human. Either way, it's absolutely adorable. Ha! Don't apologize, it's cute the way you mix up words. It reminds me of... No way! Kia? What is that, chapter 1? And so I've been visiting the cafe ever since my brinling ended. I suppose I look quite different now, don't I? That's quite the understatement. I didn't recognize you at all. An hour later, Kia and I are sitting together, lattes in hand, at the counter. We've been talking so animatedly, I barely think either of us have paused for breath. By now, I recognize her familiar shyness and adorable mannerisms, but I have to admit, seeing her adult human form for the first time is still throwing me for a loop. Perfectly understandable when I consider she still looked like a child 3 years ago. The changes to her face in particular are profound, but not unexpected. After all, I know very well that mer people experience growth very differently from humans. A mer person's childhood, their brinling period, would last from the time they hatched until they reached a normal age of human adolescence. Throughout the brinling, mer children would barely appear to age at all, maintaining a childlike appearance for years and years. And then, at the brinling's end, what awaited them was a highly accelerated transformation into an adult body, and the ability to adopt a human form. After I met Kia, because we couldn't really communicate at first, I remember wanting to learn more about her kind. I found out about the brinling and the one change through one of Baba's old books. Also, as I recall, I had to climb up her bookcase like a monkey. Forget it. And slipped on the way up. Kia cried for hours when I turned up at the beach covered in bruises. So, when did your brinling end? When I was about 17. It was a year and 3 months after you left. Not that what I was counting. When she catches me smiling, Kia turns away and scrambles for a drink. It's the cutest thing. Yeah, I like Kia a lot. But I'm suddenly reminded of something else. Wait, earlier, didn't you say your name was Kiana? Well, after you didn't seem to recognize me at the beach, I was a little embarrassed. She sighs heavily, resting her hand over her heart. And even though I came to the cafe just to see you again, I still couldn't bring myself to say anything. Oh, but Kiana is the land name I chose for myself, so I wasn't exactly lying to you. I just had trouble pronouncing it, pronouncing it when we were children. I do use it around Linsdale. My family in the ocean still uses my sea name, of course. Probably shouldn't pry into that. Mermaid sea names are private, intimate things after all. I guess I should just be careful not to call her Kia, too. Too much around town, though, either. With that niggling question out of the way, I loop the conversation back around to what really matters. So, how was it? Your change, I mean. Oh, it was better than I expected. The growing pains were bad for a while, but compared to the others who experienced it at the same time, my change was relatively quick. She takes the last few sips of her latte, then lays the empty cup down and fingers it pensively. I'm just happy that my outside finally matches who I am on the inside. Fuck me. When we used to play on the beach together, we couldn't go far because, well, I chuckle as I head back around the kitchen counter to wash our cups and saucers. No legs? Right. You were growing up, and in my mind, I was growing up with you, but physically for me, nothing was changing, and every year it felt like you were getting further and further away, and there was nothing I could do about it. We used to draw so many shapes in the sand, all the things I wanted to do, all those places I wanted to visit, but because of me, we couldn't do any of it. Her eyes glaze over. She suddenly looks quite dejected. Not wanting to watch her beat herself up, I take her hand in mine. But we can now, right? Exactly, no more hiding in the rock pools or covering up her fins with a blanket I brought from the cafe. We can stray as far from the beach as we like now and go anywhere we want. That you have your human form, the world is your oyster. You just let me know what you want to do and we'll go do it. It works like a charm. Kiana's sandy eyes light up and she leans across the counter, brimming with excitement. Okay, but with your grandmother gone, you'll be working here full time, won't you? Then, until we can do something, I'll just stop by every day to see you. I shrug my shoulders, gesturing towards the empty room in an exaggerated way. Thanks, I'd appreciate the company in more ways than one. As you can see, this place isn't exactly hopping. Without a regular too, quite honestly, I might struggle to make ends meet this summer. And based on today, I'll just take about any customer that I can get. Anyone but that vain fop, anyhow. But the more I remember his smug face, the crabbier I get. It's at the point when I realize that I'm not so much drying the cups as grinding the tea towel into them. That... What do I do there? Jingle. Jingle, jingle. The bell at the door rings for a second time. Welcome! Just take a seat and I'll be right with you straight. Speak of the devil. Mikhail strides inside, looking to the interior with both hands shoved into his jean pocket, with a slightly furrowed brow. He's looking decidedly less cool and collected than this afternoon, though. It's obvious he's trying his best to mask it. Nice place you have here. The drafty cracks in the walls are a particularly nice feature. He's not cute. Not at all. My jaw joints creak like unoiled metal as I force a smile. Linsdale's tourism prides itself on the town's invigorating beachy sea breeze. Why deprive our customers just because they're indoors? Cute. Very cute. Sensing Kiana's discomfort, I gestured towards the counter seats with an audible huff. Well, sit down if you're here to order. You are here to order. Mikhail strides into the seat directly beside Kiana. He beams obnoxiously as he pulls out his phone. Of course, and I don't need a menu. Just serve me your best attempt at coffee. You're going to pay for it? Please, of course I will. I'm not trying to put you out of business. Though I retreat to the back of the kitchen to begin scooping and grinding the coffee beans, I keep one watchful eye on Mikhail at all times. Thankfully, though his gaze is still roaming all over the interior, he wasn't trying to snap pictures. But it's obvious he's searching for something. A juicy tidbit, a draw of his story. And so, after his eyes complete the rounds of the decor, they naturally come to fall on his neighbor. You a regular here? Yes, I come here most every week. His eyes widen in genuine surprise. Really? What's your usual order? If it's that good, maybe I should have that ordered too. She flutters her eyes to me, begging for assistance, but I'm way ahead of her. I make the 3 strides back to the counter in a heartbeat and step in. She's a special customer. Her order's not on the menu. And it's shall we say, an acquired local taste. I doubt you'd like it. Gotta admit, though, I'm sorely tempted to put seawater in his coffee, just for the heck of it. Must resist. Well, that's a shame. You'll have to let me in on the secret of the drink sometime, miss. Ever white and polite, Kiana holds out her hand to introduce herself. Kiana. Just Kiana's fine. And, I'm afraid I don't know much about the recipe, or coffee for that matter. Just as I begin concerned that Mikhail might be about to defile Kiana's hand with a kiss, another one of those pretentious business cards appear in his hand and drop it into hers. Enchanté, I'm Mikhail. And I just happen to be an expert on coffee. I'm a cafe blogger. Cuisine? It's pronounced cuisine, Kiana. It means food. I turn to Mikhail and scramble for a cover-up. She's not from around here. But her accent? He doesn't look too convinced at all, but thankfully Kiana's pure-hearted curiosity comes to the rescue. You write about food? Then you're here to write about coffee curiosities? Yes, that's the intention. No doubt you've heard of my... But Kiana had already stopped listening. Andrea, this is perfect! Now you won't have to worry about finding customers. Once he tastes your coffee, he's sure to love it. And if he writes something good, people will come from all over Linsdale. Kiana, my sweet summer child, your innocence is wasted on him. He's not that kind of blogger. As I slowly churn the coffee grinder, I give Mikhail a disapproving side-eye as he shifts into his seat. That twitchy guy sitting beside you only visits coffee shops, which he expects to be bad. His blog is just a collection of hatchet jobs designed to be shocking and to tank any business he writes about. He's only here because he thinks my coffee's going to taste so undeniably terrible, it'll make for a juicy article. With one last yank, I grind the last of the coffee beans into dust. Have I missed anything out? Mikhail practically rolls his eyes into the next entry. Hey now, you're making it sound like I'm the enemy here. Ask my darling readers and they'll tell you. I'm the only one. The only two things I'm guilty of in this business are being criminally handsome and honest. And the coffee they served at all those other cafes just happened to be honestly awful. So think of it this way. This is your perfectly fair chance to impress me. Not that you will. I have savored all the finest blends this world has to offer, but you're welcome to try. It seems to take Kiana a few moments to process all this information. I guess she still isn't all that too knowledgeable about the side of human society yet, but once it does click into place, she looks crushed. But that's... How could you do something like that to hardworking people? That's so despicable. Oh, and I guess that one was supposed to be despicable? I'm happy she has my back, but Kiana's just wasting her breath. Besides, this coffee critic's just unwittingly challenged a witch. I'm not the one who's about to be eaten alive. It's alright, Kiana. He has the right to do what he likes, and so do I. All I have to do is prove him wrong. So, go ahead. With a single finger, I slide a cup across the counter in one fluid motion. It stops just shy of Mikhail's hand, taunting him like a gauntlet being laid down in declaration of war. It emits a powerful, bitter aroma so tantalizing that it clings into the air and doesn't let go. A mouth-watering aroma no person could resist. Secret House blend, with a little pinch of something special mixed in. I sneak Kiana a mischievous wink, and she understands my meaning implicitly. Drink up, you won't be disappointed. What's the matter? You should drink it before it gets too cold. I won't let you use the excuse that it was bad simply because you ruined its flavor by letting it sit too long. Brimming with devilry, I decided to push him just a little harder. As the expert here, you wouldn't make that mistake, would you? Watching him squirm and tug at the collar of his jacket, I realize I'm enjoying this myself far too much. Still, I don't take my eyes off him. I just stare him down until he finally gives in, puts the cup to his lips, and... All that bravado, and it's mediocre after all. But he takes another sip. Exactly, it's completely... He drinks and drinks until the veneer rips away, and he finally throws his head back, shamelessly chugging the hot liquid until he's lapped up every drop, and the bottom of the cup is all that remains. Hunching over, he slams the cup down on the counter and stares at it in dumb disbelief. He's shaken and a little breathless, but then there's something clouded about his expression. Delicious. Fade to black, and then back again. It's 9 p.m. Closing time draws near on this, my first day of running the cafe. As I scribbled down some orders onto the pad of receipt paper, I ripped the page out and handed over. So, 3 secret blends, 1 small and 2 grandes. That'll be 7 gold. He's been scowling like this ever since he finished the first cup. Truthfully, he looks more mystified than anything else. After the first cup, he still sat shell-shocked for several minutes, but then sprung up and demanded 2 more of the same drink in quick succession. When they were ready, Kiana and I huddled together, watching him discreetly over the tops of our own lattes. He never took more than 1 small sip at a time, crossing his arms and quietly ruminating over the taste before going back for another sip. We lost count of how many times he furrowed his brow and how many pictures he took, or how many notes he typed into his phone. About half an hour, I thought. He'd finally admitted defeat, but... Mikhail, 7 gold? Right now, Mikhail is clutching onto his gold, pouting comically. He looks like a child who doesn't want to give up his favorite marbles unless his parents agree to trade him a cookie. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I almost feel sorry for him. No matter how hard he racks his brain, he's never going to figure out the secret. Wait, why do I feel more guilty for cheating at coffee than I did wrecking his car? Oh, right, yeah, here. Thanks, here's a change. I don't get it. How? Tell me how. It's all finally too much for his pride, and he explodes, slamming his hand down on the counter. How is your coffee that good? This place has terrible reviews everywhere. It's a dead spot online. There's no way the coffee could be this good. Wait, terrible reviews? When he sees that I have no intention of answering him, Mikhail clasps his head in defeat and sighs. He's still pouting like a little kid. Tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow to make absolutely sure it wasn't a fluke. But I'm not writing my review until I know you're not cheating. So bring your A game. Looking forward to it. Gah. He concedes and stomps away to gather up his phone, and as he moves out of earshot, a very apologetic-looking Kiana takes his place. She leans in and whispers in my ear.
Is he gonna be alright? He looks kind of upset.
He'll get over it, and I have a feeling he might turn out to be quite useful. As I'm done for Mikhail, I write out her receipt and pass it on. Here you go. How are the lattes? Not salty enough? She puts her hand to her face, cheeks pink with contentedness. Not at all. They were perfect. Even more so than your grandmother's. Your kelp lattes leave me feeling completely refreshed. Being out there in the sea for so long sure must be tough, huh? Anytime you need a pick-me-up, you know where I am. Thank you. Just as Mikhail is making his way back, Kiana puts her hand into her purse, fishing around for gold. She's fumbling a little, like she's having trouble. I forgot. Maybe she doesn't know how human currency goes yet. Before I can cover her, Mikhail steps forward, trying to act chivalrous. 9:35. No need to be flustered. I've more than enough for the both of us. Oh, it's fine, I think. Here, is this enough? She tips out the entire contents of her purse onto the table. A whopping, shiny mountain of gold. Individual coins fell off counter. What the... Kiana, it was 8 gold, not 800. Oh, well, that's okay. I have so much anyway. Just take it. She turns to Mikhail with the sweetest, innocent smile. Would you like me to pay for yours too, Mr. Mikhail? No, it's... Mumbling something about how he already paid, Mikhail picks his jaw off the ground and quickly sees himself out. Did I say something wrong? No, you didn't. Don't worry about him. I paused, thinking about what Mikhail had let slip earlier. Kiana, this cafe, does it have a bad reputation in Linsdale? Late into the night, I'm staring absent-mindedly into Baba's crystal ball with my head in my lap. Head on the table, a fuzzy blanket around my shoulders, and Hannibal in my lap. Baba's rabbit-shaped letter is still hopping about on the desk, deftly dodging all of Hannibal's impish paw swipes. All around us, the dustpan and broom go about their nighttime cleaning. Sweep, sweep. What notification? Just whoosh, whoosh. I get the notification? The sound. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. I still can't stop thinking about it. Terrible reviews, that's what he said. Kiana didn't seem to know anything about it, but then again, I doubt she'd be paying much attention to something like that. No reason not to just find out myself. Once and for all, I slip my phone from my pocket, punch in a few keywords, and hit enter. Sure enough, it turns up a dozen reviews, none of them good. About this at least, it turns out Mikhail hadn't been exaggerating after all. Dismal star ratings, mention of the crummy decor, photographic evidence of bad service. There's even one that looks like a secret shot taken from under someone's armpit. No way, Baba's just plain asleep in this one, at the counter, not even trying to hide it. All of the public reviews, at least, seem to have been written from the point of view of outsiders, but that doesn't comfort me much. It only means that the Linsdale residents still care enough about Baba as a friend to not out her online. But let me guess, all these ratings go back, 3 years. Not so subtly back to the end of my last summer at Linsdale. Suddenly extremely irked all over again, I grab a pillow and hurl it into the general direction of the bookcase. Several old ledgers come tumbling down and clatter on the ground. Honestly, Baba, you're a powerful witch. If you didn't want to run a cafe in the first place, why didn't you just do literally anything else? This is exactly why Dad's always worried about you. After screaming out some of my frustrations into the void, I hauled myself over to the tatty pile of books and started gathering them up. I'm not one for speaking a lot like this. My words are getting mumbled over and over again. My mouth is feeling really dry. This is rougher than I thought it would be. I'm just checking some... Oh, great. See, now, the Twitch bot, you're not working well. The Discord bot is not working but not well. It's working like an hour late, so... Hannibal trots near, stepping all over the ledgers and curls up on them. For a snooze, she was about as helpful as a sixth toe. And what about you, Didn't think to mention that tidbit, did you? Truth is, even if her heart had never really been in the cafe, I know exactly why Baba chose to stay in Linsdale after all these years. Once she'd laughed and told me about it, told me it was because she could lie on the sand in the bikini, drinking coconut juice every day, but really... It was because of the shirtless surfers, wasn't it? I pick up the last of the ledgers, shaking Hannibal off the cover, but I stop when I realize it's this year's edition. Something in me holds back from returning to the shelf before taking a peek inside. A feeling, or more like a terrible witch's intuition, about Baba had one more bony skeleton in her closet, waiting for me to discover it. Her escape, the bad reviews, the empty pantry, the shifty locals. Shifty locals. Even the brand new tablet. All the clues were aligning to suggest one very damning picture. So I thumbed through the first few pages and... my face grows ashen. Aha, ha 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 ha. I knew it. She's totally broke. It's almost as if I can feel the skeleton of fate springing from the darkness of that proverbial closet to put its hands around my neck, but that's not all. At my feet, the tiny paper rabbit bounds up, cruelly announcing, by a cute tilt of its head, that it has one more message for me. It levitated up, and it unfolded itself in the air, stopping at eye level. A space at the very bottom of the letter slowly stains with ink. A second postscript that had been hidden until this exact moment. Andrea, PPS. That's right, I'm broke. Don't know how that happened, really. Be a dear and sort something out before I have to file for bankruptcy. I believe in you. Oh, Grandma. That's Hannibal? Oh, it's a cute cat. What time is it now? 9:41. I think I'll save it right here. That's so many slots for saves. How long is this? But I think I will save it right here because it's already been an hour and 14 minutes and it's 9:41. I'd rather not do that right now. I'll work on this tomorrow, definitely. If I have time tomorrow. I don't think I have any work that will be needed to be done. This is a good... Wait, let me just do the ending stream tag because I know I'm not going to be doing anything. And transition. I'll just keep the audio in the background because it's really nice. I can't... Nightbot is not really there. Anyway, it's been real fun. I don't know, like this game feels really nice. It's really calm and something I needed to actually just take off and, well, calm down for a long while. This VOD will definitely be going up later. Most likely, Terry is still streaming, so we can definitely raid her. Either we raid Terry or... yeah, Terry. That's how this works, Terry. So, definitely gonna raid Terry. Pterodactyl is right now streaming some Minecraft on the Kneecap SMP. I'll probably join the Minecraft with that soon, but, you know, I'll be there. I just want to say thank you all once again for letting me do this just as a cool calm down. Even if no one was talking or if no one was here. I'm still glad. Well, as I always say, if I did make your day today, go make somebody else's. Bye-bye!